Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. For today's video, I wanted to talk to you about narcissism and dealing with people pleasing. We're both people pleasers. So let's jump in. When you meet the narcissist, what you will find is any hardships that you have or are dealing with currently in the current situation are not going to be any match to whatever you deal with as you go into a covenant. That's the devil. It's not going to have any, it's going to be outmatched compared to whatever you deal with on the regular basis, any kind of stressors. But what happens when you meet the narcissist in the very beginning, it's really odd because you have stressors and then at the same time you're getting love bombed. And the stressors come because they already know and came to you because you had childhood wounds. So they wouldn't come to you if you didn't have childhood wounds. They wouldn't come to you. Because the narcissist, they wouldn't come to, they wouldn't come to you. They wouldn't come to you if you didn't have childhood wounds because they wouldn't be able to prey on you. They have to have somebody that they can prey on. And they like an unawoke light worker, somebody who's very humble. And not only humble, but has childhood wounds. Easily put in a subservient position for them to control. And a narcissist can read this stuff a mile away because they have these issues too. But because they're the opposite of us, it's like we're light workers and they're dark workers. We tell the truth and they lie. We are loyal and they're not. So, I mean, everything is a manipulation to them, and everything we do, we try. Well, at that point in time, you're almost an open book, which is not good either. You have to have your defenses up and only let people in that deserve your time and your energy, that deserve your presence. And I'm not saying that lightly, and I'm not saying that in any kind of weird way, but that's the honest God truth, because you have to understand your value. And I understand my value to be high, but I'm still humble. Where the narcissist, they grew up with all of those same childhood injuries that I just named, as far as like they didn't feel important, or they didn't have a lot of that child love or verbal type intimacy, how do you call it, vulnerability with people around them. So what we did is we people pleased in taking care of the narcissist hierarchy. We felt like if we could love them to death and regulate them, unbeknownst to us, if we could regulate their emotions, then it would settle them out and we would get their love. But it's unrequited. It's not equal reciprocity. It's always just to take. They're just takers. And when it comes to the flip of that, the narcissist is also a people pleaser. They're a people pleaser in a whole nother form and fashion. They're on a whole nother level. So we try to take the high road because we have morals and ethics and values. We just don't value ourselves enough to love ourselves to a point to where we will say no. We have the ability to give until we are not breathing anymore, almost, some of us. And you got to be careful with that, because that will just ultimately wreck your whole life, and it's not smart. It's not smart at all. But at least the individuals that try to take the high road, the empath, the black sheep, at least they have grace from God because they care. They are not willing to do things that they're going to regret. They don't want to have regrets. That's one of the things that I said, early in childhood, was I didn't want to have or make decisions and then regret them later. Because when you have regretful decisions, or when you make poor decisions because all you care about is yourself, right? Or you're so laxed in your morals, ethics, and values that you just hurt people's feelings and you wreck them. And these guys, and you wreck and you run over all these morals, values, and ethics, and you don't care about anybody, well, you have a lot of regrets. And you could tell that by looking at anybody who's addicted to any substances. I mean, they hate that they ever started the substance, yes, and the substance controlled them, yes, but it also destroyed everything and everybody around them, or anybody that did spend time or give them that unrequited reciprocity, because they act just like a narcissist. They will lie to your face and it will sound like it's true. And whenever somebody offers them a hit of something, I'm talking about the ones that don't care, that are addicts. I'm not talking about recovered addicts. I'm not talking about people that are working on recovery. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm saying the ones that are in, or even have gone through it for a period of time, they have a lot of regrets, because you get to a point when you're an addict that you don't care what you have to do to get that commodity, which to them is that substance that makes them feel a certain way. And with the narcissist, it's just their substance is the narcissistic supply, because they look at us like objects. You're a means to the end, or a means to getting their needs met, right? So if they need a car, if they need somebody to drive them somewhere, they might give themselves up to get somebody to drive them somewhere. And the means to the end, or the end goal, was reached. They needed to get to the airport. So they slept with somebody and they got a free ride to the airport. I mean, it could be anything, but I'm just using some stupid example. But it could be that, because a lot of times it is weird stuff like that, or they don't care. They don't care a lot of times what they have to do to get their needs met. And I mean, sex to them is, they look at it like it's free. It doesn't cost anything. And it's one of the best manipulators. If you can manipulate someone into having sex with you and they like the way you look, well, then you might have them hooked. And if you throw a little love bombing in there, you got them hooked for a long time. And these are traps that you fall into. But what the narcissist does is they please people by, in early childhood, they will start to learn, because they're thinking on the easy way out. And they don't believe that doing the truthful thing or the right pathway is worth it. They learn early in childhood that lying, cheating, and stealing, or finding the shortcut, the magic pill, or whatever, is going to be the better route, the better way, and they never get over, a lot of times, that belief. And that belief is what leads you into a fantasy. Because when you go down the path of looking for the shortcut all the time, or who can I lie, cheat, steal to, or manipulate into having sex with me so that I can get my needs met, or get where I need to go, well, then you have to start wearing a mask. And they're willing to do that. And what happens, they start to manipulate first. And they're led by dark energy. They may start out being led by the orchestration of this dark energy parasite. May start out as a demonic attachment. It's not going to start by possession right away. It's going to creep in. That's how the enemy works. So he's going to have to come, and there's rights. You have to have rights to possession and things like that. So what he'll do is, because their vibration is low and their realm of thinking is so low vibrational, it will first have rights to an attachment. It'll have rights to attaching to that individual under a certain vibration. If they're all running, if a narcissist can only hit a high of a 199, then what happens, and on a scale of 10 to 1,000, according to David Hawkins and the astrophysicist that made that chart, they can't get past pride. They can never get to courage. which is accepting and admitting they have a problem or they want to get help. That's why that's why you don't ever want to stay with a narcissist, because they don't change, because they will never get to courage. It's almost as if courage has to be reached early in childhood if you're going to ever reach it. And if you never get there, you're not going to reach it at, 20, 30, 40. You're not going to do it. It's not going to happen. I mean, it would be the first case that ever existed in history. I don't consider people that are self-aware narcissists to be healed. They're not healed. They don't feel love. And we don't, just because they're on panels on these platforms, you don't know what they're doing for the other 23 hours out of the day. And a lot of them look at life like a joke still. And it's not, they don't feel love. If you don't feel love and if you don't have true passion and you look at life as a joke, you're not healed. You're still doing the same stuff in the background. They're just faking it to you. But what they do is they manipulate people, and they'll date somebody and as a young teen or whatever, or manipulate them into doing something, and then manipulate this person into dating them or doing something for them, because they need more and more of that supply. It makes them feel good. It makes them feel important. It makes them feel needed. It makes them feel adequate for a time. It's just like a substance. When you take the first one, it gets you the highest you ever get, right? That's what's always said. But later on, it's going to be to the point to where you're used to it, or you need more, and you never reach what that first hit gave you. And now you're addicted, and now you're stuck, and now you have a stronghold. But anyway, what they do is they will start doing that, and they'll date this person. They could be like 14, 15, I don't know, 16, 17, some kid in school. They'll date this person, and they'll be lying to them, and they feel good about it. This is them. And they'll feel good about it. This is them building their pipeline, just like they do if they were a real estate agent. And they do this at early childhood. This is where the building begins. This is how they get keen to things, and they sharpen their craft, just like anybody would in anything. So they date this person, and they date them for a while. They may get bored of them, abuse them and stuff, and then they see this other person. And then they see this other person. And then shortly thereafter, now they're dating two people, and they don't know about it. Maybe they're 16, 17, 18, And then after that, they learn, wow, I could do a third one. Or I could also manipulate my friends, and I can get supply off of that. And it gets to a point to where everybody and everything around them, they are lying to abuse and to use. And that's why when they come to you, they say, what's most important to me is my time. My time is very valuable, and I'm a very busy person. And they make you feel as if you should feel honored to be with this most exclusive woman on the face of the earth. And don't get me wrong, I understand that. And the men would do the same thing. So I'm not just harping on women. They're exactly the same. They're both prostitutes to the highest bidder of anything. But what I'm saying is this is how the narcissist, male or female, would work. So they're telling you, and I understand that you should look at your king or your queen or your prince or princess, whatever. You should look at them as if they are the most exclusive individual to you. But what I'm saying is this is another abuse of their power and their manipulation. And because I tell you all the time, these guys are dealing with dark energy, demonic energy, jinn, whatever you want to call it. It's alien to this world system, okay? Let's put it to you like that. And it's not good. It's malevolent. When you're dealing with something that's of malevolence, that's not from this world system, it's coming from the abyss, y'all. Or it's coming from the fractionated world, which would be the abyss, which is kind of like an in-between messed up. Anyway, how they look at it as a people pleaser is, I'm very exclusive and I don't have a whole lot of time. So if you want to be with me, you're just going to have to obey me. And you're going to have to let all of your boundaries down and just trust me. Well, and then when you do that, then you're stuck. Now you're addicted, just like the person did to the substance. Now you are on them because they're spelling you, whether they know it or not. For the ones, any narcissist that's unaware, like in their younger age, as they're building this pipeline, building this craft, working on their craft to sharpen it up, to make it better, to be a better liar, better manipulator. What worked on this person will work on these 3 other ones later on in life, and I'll be able to do it quicker, faster, better, and achieve a better rate of success. You know, so they are on the board of directors of liars and manipulators. You can look at it like that. They should get a medal. But how they look at it is like, I am going to go over this guy's house that I'm dating. Now, he doesn't know that I'm dating this guy and this guy. But what he doesn't know is not going to hurt him. He doesn't have to know. This is my private business. Yeah, I'm lying to him, but I'm really just going to use him anyway. And they have to rationalize it like they're getting used too, because they don't feel loved. So they actually probably do believe that over time, that, you know, they're not convinced that love even exists, but that people just call something love that is related more to what the narcissist would put with fascination, infatuation, or addiction. So they feel like, I'm going to go people please this person because I'm dating them, and I'm going to spend some of my precious time with them, and just me being in their presence, because they don't do shit, is going to be putting a smile on their face, and I'm going to be blessing them just with the orchestration of my presence. But they're going to have to, it's going to be ice cream day and present gifting day every day for the narcissist. So I'm going to have to go over there, and I'm going to give you some of my time, boyfriend number 1. They're going to go over there, and they're going to sit down. They're going to want to be fed dessert, and they're going to want to be given gifts, given your full-on attention, and they want to be hugged, loved, and rubbed the best way that you know how, and to regulate their emotions for them. And then they're going to leave you, not give a damn about you, and they people pleased you, because now they're going to go over here and people please this person. It started out like that. It started out like somebody asked, you know, in their younger years, asked them out, and they can't ever say no. And they feel like they're bringing some sort of joy to this person. And they are in the very beginning, because the person doesn't know what they're dealing with. And so they go out with them. They may have sex with them, whatever. But then shortly they get tired of them. And they get addicted to sex so much. Which, you know, it can be, it's something that's enticing, right? So they get addicted to it, and they get addicted to having many partners with different flavors of personality. And they also, if they look good enough, they may be like a dragon, what do they call it? Dragon fruit or something like that. A dragon fruit type individual, where they look beautiful, the shell of the human, but inside there, it is dirty, y'all. It is the devil in a blue dress or something. And they have no intellect at all. I mean, meaning they can be smart. They could be very, very intelligent, but they have no personality. And as a narcissist, they can't give you any backdrop information, because they're a complete lie. And they don't want to get caught in their lies. They want to get information first so they can control the narrative. And they don't want to slip up on all the lies that they are telling everybody. They got to keep up with them all. So they're not vulnerable at all. And you need to love to have vulnerability. And you need to trust, and you need to be truthful to have vulnerability. So, but what they are doing is going over here, they're going to have sex with this person. They're going to sit there, and that person's going to be happy just to be with them. And then they're going to leave them because they get bored, go over here, and they're going to do the same thing. So then it's like, I have only 24 hours, or I only have 12 hours today of sunlight. I could spend it with this person, or this person. Who can I please and make happy for a few hours of my precious time? Because I can go to any of these people. I chose to come to you to put a smile on your face. And I could have went to this person's house, boyfriend number 2 or boyfriend number 3, and gave them my love and pleased them. But I chose you today. Now, I want you to do everything for me, because I'm here. And everything that I do is, you should be honored on another level without me doing a damn thing. I don't respect you. I don't care about you. I'm cheating on you. I'm lying and manipulating to get out from under you anything that I can. Meanwhile, I'm going to suck off your life force the whole time I'm here. And I'm going to be doing things to manipulate you. But if you were to look this up in witchcraft, you'd find it's the same thing as spelling you. Unbeknownst to me, because I'm an unawoke narcissist. So how could I know witchcraft when I've never studied the fundamentals of it? It just came innately to you? Well, the only way things come innately to you like that is when you're dealing with those things. So if you're dealing with some dark witch who never studied witchcraft, it's because they're dealing with demonic entities. And in the case of somebody who is a light worker, who is able to block the witchcraft and is able to just defend themselves when they have to, but they just want to have peace. They just want to be left alone. They just want to help others and love people. And they learn boundaries to protect themselves. And if they learn to love themselves, that's not against the law. And they learn to only give people the time that deserve it, the audience that deserves it. The fairness is always there for everybody. But you will be blocked by walls, every wall that I have in my favor, to keep you out of my life if I know you're an evildoer. And you have people that try to impact those walls and try to penetrate you on a spiritual level, on a physical level, on a level that's bullying and hindering you on all levels and every foundation when you've told them no, 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 no. And then they start, paying people and thieving and copycatting and trying to get some CPS case on you or judgments against you and false accusations, false things that say that you have STDs or STIs or, trying to talk about your sexuality when they know it's not true or it's a reflection of them. And it's behind the scenes, all going around you. And then they start to collapse over time. And they start to call you some dark witch or something. You're not a dark witch. This is equal reciprocity that God put into the foundation of the world system. And you did everything in your capabilities to keep peace and to not do anything. You could have waited several years before you outed a person as a narcissist, but you were forced to defend yourself or to protect yourself. Like if you had a social media account, you are forced, if your life is threatened, to start to air stuff out. It's almost like you would see in the movies that people would have to go to the newspaper man or something, or before the internet was out, or somehow get the stuff aired, because then if something happens to them, you might be gone, but you want to make sure that those fools get busted or it's used as your protection. So, they put you in these kind of positions and then they call you a dark witch when they start to collapse. But the reason why they're collapsing, or the reason why it's the same way, the reason how you, or the reason that, or the understanding of how they were able to spellbound you through witchcraft without ever learning witchcraft. It's because they're dealing with demons. And on your end, you're dealing with the Almighty God. And there is nobody above the Almighty God. There is not one thing, one individual, one God, or any demigod, little g God, whatever you want to call it, anything above the throne of God. So you can never defeat the Almighty God if he is working in a light worker's individual and you come against them and they are operating according to the laws and the rules of God. And if you become sovereign in your truth and you understand the platform that God wants you to walk on, the Almighty, and you get flawless with it, you are in obedience to the Almighty. You become a co-creator with him. And when people get in your way, when people try to take your sovereign birthright and mess with it, try to hinder you, try to spell you, to try to get you sick, to try to get you nailed down to a certain location or area, keep you grounded from air flights, or keep you out of certain relationships that you should have, your birthright should not be messed with, and then get into your Akashic records and start to steal from you spiritually, start to copycat you and steal from you emotionally and spiritually. When Not when you were unawoke, but when you awoke and you started to learn these things and you started to block them. Do what the Lord, the Almighty did. He made you a co-creator with him, because we are made in his image and his likeness. And he allows us to create with him as he works through us, and to help others as he works through us, as we are his conduit for him to do his job. And people get in the way of that and he puts them down. You're not, and you didn't get taught that. That's because you're dealing with the light of God, and they are dealing with the darkness of demons. I'm going to stop here, but I love y'all. Till next time. Peace. This is the wedding day. Love y'all. We out.